The governor has a decision this week. Stay-at-home order set to expire Thursday night. So do we have a press conference today, or do we have the press conference tomorrow? Do you know?
I'm going to wait and let him announce that.
What's that?
I'm going to let him announce that.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying, do we have a press conference today, or do we have a press conference tomorrow?
I think it's tomorrow.
Because the stay-at-home order ends tomorrow night, so I just wonder if he's going to make the announcement today, or is he going to make it tomorrow? I figure you would know.
I have not heard today. I've got so many conference calls, it's hard to keep up with them. I've got one this afternoon at 2 with the speaker and several members, and I've got one tomorrow with the entire General Assembly in the governor's office. So I don't know if I'll find that out. But yeah, you would think. I don't know. I don't want to speculate on that, but I have not heard one announced.
Look, the assumption is he's probably going to extend it a little bit, but
I would think so.
We'll wait and see. But again, your thoughts on how he's handled the whole situation? Everybody's weighing in. He's taking a lot of hits from a lot of mayors across the state who don't think he should have let restaurants and other places open up early, but he stuck to his guns so far. It seems to be going smoothly. He says he's letting people use common sense. Again, he stated emphatically he's not making a mandate. He's just making a recommendation. If you want to visit these places, you can. If you don't, that's up to you. So, and some restaurants have opted not to open up with dining services. Some have. I talked to several places that opened up. They seem to be, running smoothly. We've had some hair salons here open up. I talked to some ladies that went there. They said it seems to be very safe. They felt safe doing it. So just want to get your thoughts on the overall situation here in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, well, I'm only just one more opinion, but I happen to believe he's doing it right. And when you and I talked here last week, I was probably a little bit more reserved in thinking that than I am now. And because of everything you just said, that the way businesses are opening up, the way people are reacting, I think everything's going real good. And I wanted to read you a text from my daughter-in-law yesterday morning. She, I've talked about her in the past. She is in the thick of it in Cobb County. That's what she does when she goes to work. She sees nothing but COVID patients. This is what she said yesterday morning. We have only 5 COVID today on the unit, and last week every single room was full. But we have had a surge of chronic illness patients coming back super sick because they were scared to come to the hospital. So, I think Kemp was right in the data. The numbers are way down. I think that proves that Cobb has been bouncing back between the number 2, 3, and 4 county of cases. And they've got 5 cases in the entire hospital. But the problem is, if you ride by your local doctor's office, there's no cars in the parking lot. It's merely, just staff cars. And so people have been scared to go to the doctor. And so now these chronic folks, totally unrelated to COVID, have been scared to go to the doctor in the hospital. And one side note, and again, coming from my daughter-in-law and talking to people at the hospitals, people are using the hospitals for emergency, surprise, surprise, instead of going there and using it as a day clinic when your kid has a cough. So, but the other extreme side of that is people have been putting off when they should have been going. So now they're seeing a rash of, again, unrelated, but people who have chronic conditions that probably should have gone a week ago, and now they've waited, their condition is worse. So we're going to have that issue. But as far as, I just thought that was really encouraging that she's got 5 patients in the entire hospital.
We're watching the governor's press conference on Georgia Public TV, and I talked to State Senator Blake Tiller yesterday. The thing that stood out to me was that Governor Kemp says that, it's all about testing. He says they have all these places opened up, but they're looking for customers. They had the man in charge of that speak speak, and he said that he went to several locations where testing's available, and they only had like 10 or 12 people in line for the test. He says they're looking for customers. That kind of struck me because when you watch the national news, they just keep harping about testing. We're not testing enough people, but the governor says there's plenty of places to go to get tested here, but people don't seem to be in line to get tested. So I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, and I guess it's hard if you have no symptoms. That's, I guess, a little bit of a hard sell, and that's what. And I listened to the same press conference, and he and Dr. Timler were basically saying, look, if you even have a slight, any one of the conditions, just a cough, a mild fever, go get tested. I think, and I wish the antibody test was better, because I think more people would sign up for that to see if they were immune, because I can't tell you how many people, when they look back, especially I've got some friends who are out in California, they're all, every one of their kids were sick in December, way before, and again, the West Coast was a little early, but, the news hadn't broke, it was way before. They went and got tested for the antibodies. They said they had it, and so some people, especially if you're young and healthy or middle-aged and very healthy, you may have had 2 or 3 days of just, feeling bad, low-grade fever, and especially if you had it 3 or 4 months ago, you may have already gone through it. So, yeah, and the other thing, Bob, is remember when the testing first opened up, it was like the tests were so short supply. It was like, if you're not a medical provider, if you're not really sick, we need to save these tests. Well, now that we're ramped up, we can't convince people to go get tested. So, I don't know, but they are opening up more rural spots. I think the closest one to us is Milledgeville. But they're also gearing up for some mobile labs some mobile units that can, go around the state and hopefully get closer to us. But you can go to your local provider there in Jessup, and they've got test kits.
Again, you're just joining us, Bill Werkheiser on the phone with us, State Representative Wednesdays with Werkheiser. Another thing that struck me with the press conference, the governor seemed to have a good idea of what's, as he mentioned, he was going to get criticized either way, whether he opened things up, not open things up. But it sounded like he had a good feel of what was taking place statewide. He talked about the hot spot in Albany. He said they were on the phone constantly with those people down there and made sure they had the facilities and the equipment they needed. And that seems to be a big help. But he seems to understand, like he says many times, it's a big state. There's a lot of different parts of the state that are affected differently. So he has to kind of weigh the pros and cons of all that because he gets bombarded from all sides. But I was kind of impressed with the press conference. I thought he handled himself pretty well. Like I said, it seems like he's got a good feel of it. Like I said he knew he was going to get second-guessed no matter which way he went, but he thought it was the best thing to do. And like I said, Dr. Toomey was right there, and she seems to be the medical expert. She seemed to be going along with everything the governor had to say. So they seem like they're on the same page of what's going on statewide.
Yeah, you make a couple of good points. Number one, it doesn't matter what he does. He's going to get blasted. He got yelled at for not closing down soon enough, and then as soon as he closed down, he got yelled at for, why are you closing us down? And again, I feel much better, like you do. Every press conference he does, he is holding firm, and his responses has been really great. And like I said, just talking to you this week versus last week, knowing and seeing what we're seeing, I feel very confident he's doing the right thing. And people got to remember, you talked about us being a big state. We're the 8th most populated state in the country. So when people, I was reading something online like, we've got 4 times the cases of South Carolina and Alabama. Well, we've got 4 times the population of South Carolina. So, and that's why I'm always leery when people say, Georgia ranks top 10 in highway deaths or whatever kind of patients. Well, we ought to be in the top 10 of every stat, good and bad, because we're the 8th most populated state. So, just got to be always mindful of that. But again, I think he's doing a great job. You know, everybody that's sitting back being a Monday morning quarterback, you know, they've been doing yard work all day, and then all of a sudden they have opinion. You got to remember, this is all he's doing. You know, 10, 12, 14 hours a day, maybe more. And he and Dr. Toomey, and like I said, they've been pouring over data. And, you know, speaking of press conferences, he made a good point. He says the restaurants that you've seen, I mean, the businesses you've seen and how they're doing, you don't think that's safer than what you've seen in Walmart? So...
Oh, he got blasted. He got blasted when he opened up the beaches, but I hadn't heard anything about the beaches in the last 2 weeks. Nobody said a word, and he said that they keep on monitoring that. He seems to think that that's going well. You know, it's not that he doesn't understand. Like I said, he made a good point. You know, he has a mother that's elderly. He talked about, you know, he can't go in and see her because he doesn't want to spread the virus if he has it. You know, he said he dropped the blueberries off in her mailbox, but like I said so personally he understands where people are coming from. I mean, it's a tough situation for everybody, but it's not like he doesn't have feelings. But like I said, I made the point to Blake Tillery and Stephen Meeks on Monday that, look, he's not making these decisions by himself. He has those team around him. He has that task force that they meet and discuss every day, and he's doing the same thing. The president, the president gets on the phone, the vice president gets on the phone every day with the governors across the state. Well, Governor Brian Kemp's on the phone every day talking to mayors all across the state of Georgia. So he's getting feedback all across the state of Georgia daily. So, like you said, he's working 24/7 trying to do everything they can to curtail this virus and try to get the economy back moving in a positive direction.
Yeah, and you got to remember this, too. The vast majority of mayors and councils in Georgia support him in what he's doing. But to interview someone and say, yeah, I support what he's doing, that's not a great headline. So you're hearing from the loudest critics. You always will. But I think just like I've said a couple times, sitting here a week later, his decisions so far have been right. I think history is going to show he's been on the right side because, yeah, he's not, again, his mother, everything he's done, you know he's got to be, when he lays his head on a pillow at night, he's agonizing whether that was the right thing or not, and I'm sure he's holding his breath hoping it was. But he's not taking it lightly, and again, so far, I think he is proven right. And speaking of that, think about this. Nearly 11 million population, we've had right at 1,000 deaths. And I know if that's one of your family members, that's a big deal. But again, that's an incredibly low number. And I think Georgia, when you compare it to almost any state, large or small, has done very well. And I think he has shown true great leadership.
Well, the other thing he mentioned is that, he's going strictly on data and medical advice, and if the numbers change, he'll change direction. I mean, he wasn't against that. He said he's definitely going by that daily. He meets every day, looks at the numbers, and sees what's going on across the state. But like I said, he stuck to his guns. He's been, criticized by many, but he stood firm in that press conference the other day. It'll be interesting to see what he does with the decision on the stay-at-home order. But, again, I'm just assuming that he's going to do what most think he should do, and that's kind of extend it. I heard May 13th is the date, so we'll wait and see. But so you don't think they'll have any meeting? I'm sorry, no message today. The message will come tomorrow. Is what you're telling us.
It hasn't been announced, and usually they're announced 24 hours. But again, we're in a different world now, so all rules are off. So if it was a press conference today, it would be very late in the afternoon.
Let's get to the other topic, and that's going to be the legislative session. They're still looking at June 11th as the possible date that you may return. But the big worry, when the school board met yesterday, watched that meeting online, they talked about, all the school systems are kind of in a wait-and-see mode to see what the state legislature does with the educational budget, because they fear that, like most departments, there's going to be cuts all across the board once you all get back. So the question is how deep the cut's going to be. We've had the nasty word furlough in the past. The school board yesterday said they're going to try to do everything they can not to have that, but I've heard other school districts already mention furlough days, a possibility coming up in the upcoming school year. So Your thoughts on the budget, how tough the process is going to be, and how bad do you think cuts will be?
I don't know, and that's everybody's guess, and Senator Hillary might have a better pulse on that. But, and I guess you mentioned June 11th. That's not set in stone yet, and I think that's going to be part of our conference call today with leadership in the House. So that was the date that was first thrown out by the House.
The Senate has a different date, is what Blake said. They're talking about going earlier, like May 14th. So
May 13th, yeah. And so the thing that struck me about those two dates is they were so far apart. They were, 2 days short of a month. So
like I said, that's almost a month apart, right?
Yeah. So my guess is, and again, no one. I'm just throwing out my 2 cents, which is probably worth half that. I'm wondering if we won't compromise and be somewhere around June 1st, and that would put us right slap in the middle of those 2 dates. But I don't know.
All right. How long do you think the process will take once you get up there? Do you think there'll be a lot of debate, or do you think it'll be just we're up against it, we got to get this budget approved, we got to do this, this, and this?
Well, that's the argument for the later date, and that's what the Speaker is saying. The later we wait, the more information we'll have, and so it takes us about 5 or 6 days into a new month to get the data from the previous month when it comes to, like, income tax and sales tax. Well, now that the income tax date has been pushed back, we won't have those numbers no matter when we go in. The budget will already be in fact placed, so that's why the Speaker is saying let's delay. I think Lieutenant Governor, his theory is it is going to take more time, but the problem with that is legally we've only got 11 days left that we can meet. Now, we don't have to meet all 11. A lot of people think we have to meet 40 days. We have to meet not more than 40 days. So we've only got, we've got 11 days left. So, again, that makes me think the later date is better because as long as we're done by July 1st and can wait and get the most data we can, to me, the later date sounds more viable. Now, if we had, 20 days left in the session, yeah, get in early, do other stuff. But since we're limited to that 11 days, I don't see the rush to start. If that provides more data, but to answer your question, how bad? I mean, nobody knows. I don't. That when Deal walked in office 10 years ago, this is the kind of situation he was facing. That we didn't have near the money in reserve, and furloughs everywhere, and I don't know. I don't even want to speculate how bad it's going to be. People are guessing between $3 and $4 billion. That's a lot. And if you think about this, nearly 60 cents of every dollar of our budget goes to education. So, no matter what the cut is, education is going to get hurt because it's over half our budget.
I'm curious. I asked both Stephen Meeks and Blake Tillery, you're one of our representatives. You get phone calls every day, emails every day. The one thing I keep hearing people complain about is these small business loans. Some people are able to get through, some can't get through, some got their money, some didn't get the money. Is that still a problem? Are you hearing that district-wide, or what are you hearing from your constituents? What's their biggest issue?
So, yes, my calls, texts, and emails are way up. And fortunately, I've been, almost in every case, I've been able to help them. But that group I have not heard from. If people are having issues, I think they're having to deal with their local bank. And again, I think I mentioned this a week or two ago. It's a little bit different in South Georgia because we know our local banker, go to church with them. We have good relationships. From what I'm hearing, it's going pretty good if the money is there. And, they ran out, then they did a second round. The emails, texts, and calls I'm getting are more about different issues. Like yesterday, I was able to help somebody with an unemployment issue. It's just been all over the place. But I have not heard from very many about the few that I have heard about have said the process worked. So
that's
what
good.
about the other two? I didn't get to listen to them this week. I usually go back and catch it. Are they hearing very much?
I think both of them said that they had some people call about that issue, but, I can't really remember.
Yeah.
My memory's not really good. So, but again, if somebody does need to get a hold of you and needs a question answered, or what's the best way to get a hold of you?
So either way, if they want to call, if that's easier, my cell phone is 912-237-0145. And the easiest email is bill@werkheiser.com. It's my first at my last name. But then, just so they'll be prepared, I will probably get them to write me just a 3 or 4 sentence summary and send it to my legislative email, because that's usually required for me to forward it to whatever department or agency to get, the issue worked on. But we'll be glad to help. That's the best part of this job, is being able to help people navigate issues when they run into walls with the state government. So rather do that than some of the other stuff.
In your neighborhood, what do you see? How, are things getting back to normal, or here locally? Like I said, as we mentioned, some businesses have decided to open up when the governor said they could. Others have decided to stay where they were, just doing the curbside pick up and drive-through. But what about in your area? What are you seeing?
Well, most of the restaurants, same thing. Most of them, they said for the first week, that would be ending about now through, I think, Friday, they were going to continue with the curb drive-through, so that since they hadn't been open in several weeks, just prepare and then make that decision next Monday whether to open. The businesses, it's kind of a mix. Most of those are being open. They've all got signs, about the 6 feet. Some of them are asking you to wear a mask, but not requiring it. But I think it's been mixed. But I think the businesses are doing the right thing. I think the consumers are doing the right thing. The places I've been in, people are very conscious about keeping their distance, and again, I think that's why I think it will work, because those who do not want to get out, and this is what Kemp is reminding people. I'm not, making you go to a hair salon. If you don't want to get out, just stay at your house. And let me say this too, because a lot of people, it makes for a headline, but it's really unfair. People are, doing a lot of memes and headlines about, Kemp opening massage parlors and bowling alley, which seems frivolous. We're in the middle of a pandemic. But I want to remind people, he only shut down about 20 businesses. The other 99% were never shut down. They were allowed, if they could meet criteria, and every business owner could himself or minimal staff to keep the business going. Those businesses that are making headlines, the massage parlors, nail salons, those were the only ones, the bars, and they're still closed, were the only ones to shut down. So the only reason you're hearing those in the news is those are the ones he's reopening. All those other businesses, Rainier down to a one-man machine shop, they were never shut down. So I think that's an unfair criticism about people trying to make it out like he's trying to make people go to a massage parlor. So, again, I understand that makes for a good meme, but it's not totally accurate.
Well, like I said, I'm driving around Wayne County, seeing what took place the last couple of days. It just seems like people are doing exactly what the governor asked them to do: be smart, be conscious of the health issues. Like I said, it's not a mandate. You don't have to go if you don't want to. But the ones that have opened up, I'm hearing good reports that they are using the social distancing. They got hand sanitizer in the places. They're doing exactly what the governor asked them to do. And that's what the governor said. Look, he said, sometimes you have to just rely on people using common sense. And he said, Georgians are smart people. He says they're going to use common sense. So hopefully, like I said, I just got my fingers crossed. Everything continues to go well. Hadn't heard any bad reports here locally. Hadn't heard any bad reports statewide, really. So far seems to be going pretty well.
I think it is, and I think, the way we open the show, that the text from my daughter-in-law says it all, because, a lot of what me and you do is speculate based on what we see and hear. She's living it, and, I think that speaks for itself, and I think, like I said, I feel 100% better this Wednesday than I did last.
And the governor made a good point. He said, you can bet if there's some bad news out there, you'd hear about it, because they were out there. He said the media was out there at 7 o'clock in the morning as soon as those places opened up. So they were looking for a bad story, but unfortunately they haven't found one yet. So I say just hopefully things will continue to progress at a good pace. More and more people will feel confident to go to these restaurants and support them. I said that's the one thing Jonathan and I have talked about daily here. The one thing I've seen, like I said, every afternoon I don't cook, so I have to go get my meal and I order it, but the lines have been pretty long, which I'm glad to see. It seems like people are definitely doing that. And I saw University of Georgia DePaul. They said that that's the one thing a lot of people are doing. They are trying their best to support these local restaurants as much as they can, trying to make sure they stay in business. So it's good to see that.
Yeah, Bob, and that's where my heart is. I was a business owner for over 30 years, and again, I always tell people, when it comes out, when these organizations, when they need raffle tickets printed or need donations, that's who they run to. They run to local businesses. And so now it's our turn to support them. And we need to do that. We need to think twice before ordering something online. You might save $1 or $2, but, Amazon's not going to donate to your local civics club.
Right, well said.
I hope people keep that in mind.
No doubt. Bill, always good talking to you here on Wednesdays. Again, we'll look forward to the governor probably most likely tomorrow to see what he does with this stay at order. This ends on Thursday night, so I'm sure he'll address that most likely tomorrow, and we'll look forward to that press conference. And again, appreciate you being here on Wednesdays with Werkheiser. And again, before I let you go, in case just people tuning in, if somebody does have a question that they want to ask you or get some information to you, again, give that information one more time.
Yeah, the easiest thing is bill@werkheiser.com. Because one thing, I've got my phone set that if you're not already in my contact list, it goes straight to voicemail. So, if you do call, leave a voicemail. But if you send me an email at bill@werkheiser.com, it comes to my phone, and I'll get right back with you.
Okay, Bill, appreciate it again. We'll talk to you next Wednesday.
Have a good one.
You have a good one. Stay safe.
All right.
Okay. Again, those comments, Bill Werkheiser. Again, Wednesdays with Werkheiser. Appreciate him tuning in. Again, we've had Steve Meeks on Monday, State Senator Blake Tiller on Tuesday, and now Bill Werkheiser on Wednesday. Right. So appreciate that. One thing before I go, just want to plug again, the City of Odom's raising money for families who suffered damage during that tornado. They're selling tornado relief T-shirts for just $15 a piece. So, again, if you'd like to help out, you can call Odom City Hall today at 586-2211. Again, that's 586-2211. Or you can email cityofodom@hotmail.com. Again, the last day to order is Monday, May the 4th. Again, all the proceeds go to the tornado victims in Odom, Georgia. So, again, they're doing their best to raise money for that cause. So if you'd like to help out, just call City Hall or stop by City Hall and purchase your T-shirt. Good-looking T-shirt. And on the front, it has a message that says, "We may be little, but we're strong." And on the back, the message is, "A tornado can damage us, but God and our Wayne County citizens will rebuild us." So, again, if you'd like to get one of those T-shirts, call Odom City Hall today at 586-2211.
All right, that's the world-famous Butch and Bob Show on this Wednesday morning, brought to you by Nips Car Wash and Murphy Builder Supply. 8:31 here at the Big Dog WIFO. Let's get an update from Fox News Radio right after this.
And then along came Walker Jones.
These are difficult times. And at Walker Jones Toyota, now more than ever, we're proud to be your friends and good neighbors. Walker Jones Toyota continues to serve this community. Our doors are open, or you can check out our new test drive from home and home delivery programs. Now you can shop the Toyota that's right for you from the comfort of your very own home. And Walker Jones Toyota will bring that vehicle to you, whether you purchase or just want to take a test drive. And of course, Walker Jones Toyota is the home of the lifetime warranty at no extra cost to you. Good 24/7 coast to coast. We appreciate your patience and support during this unprecedented event. Walker Jones Toyota, Memorial Drive in Waycross, and online at walkerjonestoyota.com.
Get the best deal from Walker Jones.
Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Ends 4/30/20.
How badly did the coronavirus affect the economy? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I think fourth quarter will be great. And I think next year is going to be a tremendous year for this country.
But President Trump acknowledges things are bad now. In a half hour, we'll find out how all the shutdowns in March hurt the first quarter. The GDP predicted to show shrinkage. Forecasts range from -4 to maybe 11%. The president has ordered meat processing plants to stay open, calling them critical amid worries of shortages after 22 plants shut down because of corona outbreaks. Smithfields in South Dakota had more than 800 sick workers. Governor Kristi Noem says,
"We're working with Smithfield. The ball's in their court. We're hoping that within a couple of days they could potentially get this plant going."
Union leaders have called the president's order wrong and dangerous. Now, many states have reopened some things, and we'll find out today what Florida is planning. Fox's Evan Brown live in Broward County.
Dave, the South Florida counties are planning for some reopening today. That includes many public parks from the Keys to Miami and Fort Lauderdale to West Palm.
I'm really skeptical, to be honest, but I would love to see things reopen as soon as possible.
But it won't include the sands of the beaches, and the Florida Keys will stay closed to visitors. Statewide, Governor Ron DeSantis thinks an easing should happen soon.
Going from where we are now to phase one is not a very a big leap. I think that will be able to be a small step for us.
DeSantis could announce something later today, Dave.
Evan, more than 1 million people in the U.S. now have the coronavirus, and in the race for a vaccine.
Last year, the Jenner Institute at Oxford University developed a vaccine for a different coronavirus. They've now adapted it for the virus that causes COVID-19. And in late March, scientists at the Rocky Mountain Laboratory in Hamilton, Montana, tried out the vaccine on 6 monkeys that were exposed to heavy levels of the virus. 28 days later, the monkeys were virus-free and had no ill effects.
Fox's Lisa Brady. The New York Times reports they hope to get emergency approval and doses ready for this fall. America's listening to Fox News.
We're all in uncharted territory, looking for ways to support our communities. At Dell Technologies, we're making sure small businesses have the right tech solutions. Dell Technologies advisors are here for you, from helping small businesses stay connected and productive while working remotely with Windows 10 and Microsoft Teams, to rapidly deploying remote work solutions that limit upfront costs with Dell Financial Services. We're standing by you every step of the way. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
While you can't believe everything on social media these days, you can believe it's possible to start a new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months from the comfort of your own home, even if you have zero computer experience. Instead of waiting to see what happens when life gets back to normal, take control of your future now. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Joe Biden is getting support for his 2020 bid to unseat President Trump from the Democrats who lost to the president in 2016.
I am thrilled to be part of your campaign, to not only endorse you, but to help highlight a lot of the issues that are at stake in this presidential election.
Her endorsement drew the ire of Biden's accuser, a former Senate staffer who claims he sexually assaulted her in the 1990s. Tara Reid says she's a Democrat and voted for Clinton, but believes Hillary's enabling a sexual predator. Biden and his campaign deny her allegations, and he did win another primary.
Joe Biden's taken the Ohio primary. No surprise there, since his last competitor, Senator Bernie Sanders, dropped out weeks ago. But the way Biden won is different. The election held mostly via mail because of the COVID-19 outbreak. A normal primary was scheduled for March 17th, but Governor Mike DeWine wanted it moved